and welcome to the Gravity Max live stream. So today we have a fun topic. I mean, we always have a fun topic.
4.
Yeah, right? This is the start of season 4. Look at that beautiful blue color palette.
Season.
Yeah, the blue season. And my blue shirt. So we're all ready for this season 4. So today we are talking about a system of climate classification, and it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be fun. We talk about our favorite types of climates, and it's going to be a fun time. So let's begin with the plugs. Okay. This video is not intended for children under 13 years old. If you are under 13 years old, please do not watch this video, as the topics we discuss are meant for those with at least a high school level of education. If you are not 13, you will not understand the scientific topics discussed in this video. Don't do it. Leave. Alright. So, visit the Gravity Max website. We've got some cool stuff there. It's gravitymaxmedia.com. We have some, let's see, the homepage, is the homepage. Then we have it like links to everything. We also have a page about my books, and eventually I'll put, Sebastian's book up there, like when he's like ready to publish it. And then also we have a little news section. So it's a great website. There's actually stuff there. So go check it out. Link in the description. Also, follow Gravity Max on your favorite forms of social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Links in the description below. Okay. Also, follow Sebastian on social media: 128 Seconds YouTube, and then also Instagram and
Check
Twitter.
it out.
Yep.
My
channel.
Twitter's funny. My
Yeah, the
videos
Twitter's
are
funny.
good. Get me to 128 subscribers. I'm
Yep.
saying a long sentence for the sound check.
Ah, I see.
Keep going.
Okay. Yeah, so Sebastian's channel is almost hitting a very important milestone, so check it out. Make sure to subscribe. Links in the description. All right. And now we have the question mark, the mystery. This is A Bottled Up Flame, the sequel to A Truly Dead Rock, coming out on Amazon on November 1st, 2020. So, this is a fun book. I've really enjoyed writing it. I am currently in the editing phase, and I'm working on the cover arts. I'll probably get the cover art in like 2 or 3 weeks. So this big black question mark box will be gone, and it will be replaced with an actual picture. But yeah, get hyped for the book.
I am echoing.
Oh, he's echoing?
Yeah.
I don't know how that's happening. Okay, let's see.
Do you
Say
have 2
something.
audio captures going?
Uh-huh. Here, wait. Okay, I guess I'll get rid of... Okay, say something.
Hello.
Huh. That is the most peculiar thing. You see, a while ago it switched. Whatever. It do not matter. It doesn't matter. As long as it's...
say a very sentence now.
Okay.
So that make sure that it works. And bear with me as we go on this journey of audio editing.
Yeah, it always oscillates back and forth, OBS, between what it wants to work and what it doesn't want to work. But anyways, so yeah, get hyped for the book. Check out the website, because on the website is like a synopsis of the book, and yeah, so yeah, it's all fun. It's all fun. So, time for the episode. First episode of season 4, Köppen Travel Guide, and the Köppen has the O has the 2 dots over it. So you see that map behind in the background, and that map represents every climate type on Earth with some color. So there are 30 climate types under the Köppen climate classification system, and it's really interesting. So it's this guy.
All right, we should be good.
Okay, we're good.
Nice.
Okay.
Talk loud.
Okay, talk loud. Okay.
Yeah.
So, the man that came up with this system was named Vladimir Köppen.
Vladimir.
So it was actually Vladimir, but he was German, and so his name was spelled with a W instead of a V, but it was pronounced with a V instead of a W, because confusing, you know. So yeah, Vladimir. We're gonna refer to him as Vladimir. You know, it's a nickname for our buddy. He basically came up with this climate classification system, and it's really interesting because when you think of the weather, you usually think of it like qualitatively, like, oh, the weather's nice, or the weather's not nice. Um,
Mhm.
but what this system does is actually classify a ton of different climate types, all of the climate types on Earth, classified quantitatively instead of qualitatively, which I think is quite a big accomplishment and it's pretty cool. So this is also referred to as the Köppen Geiger classification system because this second guy came along years later named Geiger and he was like, hey, let's improve this. So yeah. And so there are,
Is that the same Geiger who did the Geiger counter?
I'm not actually sure if it was the same Geiger, but if it was the guy that did the Geiger counter, then he doesn't need two things to be named after him. You know, he's got enough already. So yeah.
Rudolph Geiger.
But yeah, so not the
No,
same,
different guy.
different Geigers.
Totally different guy.
Wow, that's what are the odds? Um, But anyways,
Really.
so yeah, this system actually quantitatively describes all of its climates, and we'll tell you those quantitative descriptions. Uh, Everything is based on temperature and rainfall. So it's these two factors, temperature and rainfall, and how they occur in a climate that determines what climate type it is, which is pretty great, but I think it does leave some room for like two things in the same climate type can probably feel very different. Uh, and that's, I think, just the cost of having a more quantitative system. Uh, but I think it's still a pretty powerful system, and I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, let's get started. Okay. First, Group A, tropical climates. So there are 30 climate types, but they fall into five different groups. And the tropical climates are basically the hottest ones, Group A. They all occur around the equator, and they all have a lot of rainfall, as well as being very hot. They're hot and humid. So, yeah, that's what this climate type is. Now, let me pull up my technicalities. So, every climate type in this classification must have at least uh, 18 degrees Celsius every month of the year. So what that means is the average temperature for any month must not fall below 18 degrees Celsius. So on an individual day, right? Say the first day of the month, it could be freezing, but then every other day of the month is like 19 degrees Celsius, and it would balance out so that it's still above. And of course, while you can make these like crazy exceptions where it's like absolute zero one day of the month, and then every other day of the month it's like just above, you know what I mean? Uh, but that doesn't really happen on Earth, you know what I mean? So you don't really have to worry about it that much. So it's pretty reasonable, actually. Um, but then, yes, they're also characterized by a lot of rain, and yeah, so
Oh, it's
usually,
also known as
yeah.
hot and wet and nasty
Oh,
and
yes.
icky.
Here, wait. Well, that
It,
was just
or
Group A. Now we go to
continue.
tropical rainforest specifically.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Oh
tropical
yeah.
rainforest specifically is hot and wet and nasty and icky. Yeah.
Because that's what it is, man. I don't
Yep.
want to live in a tropical rainforest. I don't even want a beach house in a tropical rainforest.
Yeah.
I don't want to be anywhere near tropical rainforest because it's rain is not the best,
Hmm.
and it's hot, and
Not the
it's
best.
nasty,
Yeah.
and it's icky. All things that are good when mixed together.
Yeah. Yep. I get that. So yeah. So another thing about this climate type. So each of these three climate types in the group A all have a different amount of rainfall. So for AF, which is the tropical rainforest, the average precipitation is always above 60 millimeters per month. So just like the 18 degrees Celsius is the temperature that every month has to be above, it also each month has to have at least 60 millimeters of rain, which is quite a bit for American people. That is 2.4 inches of rain per month. So that's quite a lot if you think about it, and that's why it's a tropical rainforest. So we also have some examples of places that are in this climate type. We've got Hilo, Hawaii, Kampala, Uganda, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and Santos, Brazil. So all places that are close to the equator. You can see in these pictures, you got palm trees. You also got, very like jungly type trees because this is like in the Amazon too, right? The Amazon falls into this part. Yeah, tropical rainforest. So yeah. Uh, Anything else you have to say on this climate type?
I don't like it. I do not like it.
You don't like it. He does not
I don't
like
like
it.
it.
All
I don't
right.
like it.
Well, yeah. So if you look at the map again, you see it's, South America, a little bit of Africa, and then a lot in Indonesia. So this is an interesting climate type. A lot of these climate types, while I wouldn't want to live there, I think it would be nice to visit a lot of these climate types. You know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
it would be cool to see. Um, but yeah. So, anyways, that's pretty much it on this climate type. So now we move
Next up,
to AM,
we
tropical
tropical
monsoon. Yeah. So the tropical monsoon is slightly different. So again, it has to be above 18 degrees every month, but the driest month of the year can fall below or it does fall below 60 millimeters of rainfall. However, it must stay above another factor, which is it's like it's a little equation. It's 100 minus the total annual precipitation in millimeters divided by 25. So pretty much you just don't really think about that. It's less than 60 millimeters. You just think about it like that. So the driest month of the year can be less than 60 millimeters, but not too much less than 60 millimeters. Otherwise, it's not a tropical monsoon.
yeah.
Um,
It's also known as you're in a submarine with a breached hull because it's rain. It's what made the Vietnam War suck,
mhm.
amongst other factors that also made that war suck.
Yeah, there
But
are quite
if
a few things.
would, would not like to live there,
Hmm.
I am a big water drinker, though. I
Okay.
definitely do drink water, but I don't like having it dumped on me like I'm 5 years old and my dad's hitting me with a hose. So I'm all right, and I do not like this.
Yeah, it reminds me of the quote, people run from the rain, but then they take a shower, which is like kind of a very
I didn't consent to the rain though.
exactly. It's a dumb quote. Like someone put in response to that, they said, uh, people eat food, but they run if you throw an apple at them. So, yeah,
Exactly.
that's the philosophy of life, I guess. I don't know. All right,
It is what it
it is what
is.
it is. Yeah. All right, so let's look at the next slide. So, we got Cairns, Australia, Jakarta, Indonesia, Miami, Florida, and San Juan, Puerto Rico. So yeah, this one in the bottom left, I actually live fairly close to a tropical monsoon climate. Um, but of course, right now I'm not, because right now I am currently stationed on the west coast of the United States. It is
No,
2
I'm
p.m.
so sorry.
I didn't
I
say it.
feel you.
I didn't say it. Oh, I didn't say it for sympathy, but all right. Um, so yeah, you see this like variety of cities here, and it's interesting that it actually comes up into America, both mainland and Puerto Rico. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting climate, and you can actually it's just hot and humid. If you've ever been to Miami, I've been to Miami. Uh, it's you see, I'm the kind of person I prefer hot and dry climates. And when you're living in like a cold climate, because I visited Miami when I lived in Connecticut, like I think it was once, I forget when, like a few years ago. But uh, when I did that, it was winter too. And the tropical monsoon climate is actually somewhat pleasant in the winter. You know what I mean? It's just warm. And so
I
it's,
don't like it.
you don't like it?
I don't
So
like it.
it's not always bad. In the summer, a tropical monsoon climate is, I would say, pretty bad. It just gets super hot and super humid, and like when you're breathing, it feels like you're breathing in water, like in your lungs, and it just sucks. But
I don't,
in the winter, especially if you're only there for a week, like getting away from the cold weather, I think it could actually be pretty nice. So that is
yeah.
our evaluation. Okay, so now we move on to AS slash AW. So it's in a quantum superposition of being an S and a W, that letter right there. So, yeah, uh, this climate, tropical savanna, is even less precipitation in the driest month. But again, it's still above 18 degrees, and in the driest month, basically, it's below 60 millimeters, but it's also below that second equation that you saw earlier for the tropical monsoon. Instead of being below 60 but above the equation, it's below 60 and below the equation. So it can actually get fairly like dry
Yeah.
in the winter. I wouldn't quite say dry though, because these climates are still pretty humid. So that's
So the AKA for this one is Wakanda Forever
the hmm
because it is based mainly in Africa.
And in Central Africa.
Those, yeah, Central Africa, which is where Wakanda is.
Yeah,
You know, it's like Rwanda, I think, is its
I think it's
real life
based on,
equivalent.
yeah,
So
that's, yeah,
tropical Savannah, a
yeah.
little better
hmm
because we had a Utopia project for
Oh, yeah.
like that was the seventh grade, and my utopian city was in Africa in the tropical savannah
Nice.
because I knew that it was just a Chad climate.
hmm
And that's what I have to say.
Yeah, this is a
Let's
pretty
look at
cool
the
climate
example.
type. Yeah, let's look at some examples. So we got Brasilia, Brazil, Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam.
And we did one in Africa.
Oh, that's true. Key West, Florida, and Mumbai, India. Mumbai is pretty famous. Um,
Yeah.
and I would say Key West is also pretty famous. The southernmost point in the continental US. Um, but yeah, so definitely if you look at that map, that goes through like the Congo and Angola, I think that is, like Nigeria, South Sudan. So yeah, quite a few
Mm-hmm.
places. Madagascar even. Um, although Madagascar also has another climate type. But yeah, so those are all the Group A climate types. So yeah, all very humid and very hot. I think that's just the summary of them. Tropical. Each one has tropical in their name. They're the tropical group. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, mostly they're in the tropics, although they do get slightly out of the tropics. They go a little bit north, but it's all you see very close to the equator. So yeah, that's all I
So
have to say
Group
about
A
that.
is that the hottest group, the
Yes, I
warmest
would say
group?
so. Group A is the
Yeah.
hottest group. Kind of. Well,
It's,
actually,
yeah.
the hottest record, like the hottest recorded temperatures, are probably in Group B. But in general, Group A is hotter. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
so Group A is on average hotter, so it's a consistent heat, whereas Group B will occasionally, be like a frying pan. So Group B, you might be guessing, think of like Death Valley, California, with that record hot temperature. What was that temperature? I think it was like,
134 degrees
yeah,
achieved in 1913
wow.
because I had that for my 1910s and under 100. It's not in
Oh yeah.
there,
Oh, but
but I
you,
had it.
yeah, you saw it.
I
Wow.
saw it.
Bonus facts. If you want, this is the
Bonus.
DLC to that video.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, that's Group A. You know, just imagine the
Yeah,
jungle
Group A
trees.
sucks except for that last one. You
Yeah.
know, climates there suck. The countries that they hit really not doing too well.
Okay.
But I'm talking about their government. The people there are very nice.
Okay. Bold
Um,
statement for someone living in America, which is one of the countries it hits. Or maybe not a bold statement, but
anyways, now we move on to Group B.
Yeah, Group B. So these are the
The B
dry
stands for better.
climates. What?
The B stands for better.
Oh, okay. B stands for better. Yeah, so Group B is a drier, they are drier climates. So they can be hot, some of them, but then others are cold, and they're all just, drier than the Group A's. So let's see. Yeah, let us begin. Oh yeah, the Group B, the way it's calculated is complicated, but I'll explain that in a second. So we start with the hot desert, and that is the, how would you say, redder red? You know what I mean? Because the other one's like lighter. I don't know.
Well, yeah, that's red. The other one's pink.
Yeah, I guess you could say
Yeah.
that. Um, so these are hot deserts. And look at that huge band of area. I bet this climate type, BWH, I think it probably has the largest contiguous space. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because all the other climate types, they may have more total space. Not even really, but even if they,
No, what
yeah,
about the one that hits like all of Upper Canada?
maybe. And maybe the
The
ice caps too for Antarctica. But either way, just on the
the
map,
DSC. DSC
mhm,
might beat it. I don't know though.
maybe, yeah. But either way, on this map, it is very impressive. You see the big Sahara
Yeah.
Desert right in the middle, right there. Um, so, yeah, so hot deserts, aka your average desert. Um, this is what you
Yeah.
think
I
of.
heard hot desert and I was like, wow,
Yep.
your
Yes.
standard desert.
Yeah. So this is what you think of really when you think of a desert. Like you think of deserts as hot. Um, but yeah, so the way that the dryness is calculated is kind of weird. So first, you multiply the average annual temperature by 20 degrees Celsius, okay? Then you add 280 if 70% or more of the rainfall is in summer, 140 if 30 to 70% is in summer, and 0 if less than 30% is in summer, which is kind of weird, but then what you do is that if the precipitation is less than 50% of this calculated value, it's a desert. And if it's between 50 and 100%, then it's semi-arid. And then if it's above that, it's just out. It is not in the B group. Um, but yeah, so the definition of hot for hot desert, so that complicated equation, you don't have to know that equation. I mean, you don't really have to know anything in this video, but just think these are drier. So there are deserts that are the driest climates, semi-arid, which are not as dry as the deserts, but drier than other climates. And then there's just the rest of the climates. So yeah, so hot desert is the driest type. So then for the temperature definition to be hot, it's either the same as group A with the every month is above 18 degrees Celsius, or the alternate definition is that the coldest month is above 0 degrees Celsius. Um, so, yeah. Or sorry, no, not every month is above. It's that the average temperature is 18 degrees Celsius. So basically, if the average temperature of the year is above 18 degrees Celsius, that's one definition of being hot, and then the other definition is that the coldest month is above 0. So those conflicting definitions are kind of weird, but what it basically means is that say that 6 of the months average 0 degrees, and then 6 of the months average 36 degrees, right?
Yeah.
Average would be 18, and so it would be a hot desert. Um, but then at the same time, it would get weird with these conflicting definitions because you can have a month that's below 0 and then the average still ends up being above 18. But that doesn't happen that often, so you don't really have to worry about it. Essentially, that's how that's how a lot of this works. So it is pretty quantitative for a system, but there are little points in this system that are a little bit, I don't know, a little bit scuffed, I guess you could
Yeah.
say. Um, but yeah, so let's look at some of these examples. We got Almeria, Spain, Coober Pedy, Australia, Mecca, Saudi Arabia, and Phoenix, Arizona.
Cooper.
Coober
They named
Pedy.
their town Cooper.
I know, I like that name, Coober. But yeah, Phoenix, Arizona. That's another American city. Um, just for reference, because I'm assuming most of our audience is
If
American.
you didn't know, Phoenix, Arizona is in the United States.
Yep. Yeah. So, you know, these places get really hot if you think about it. If you know about Arizona and Phoenix, there's actually a heat wave there currently, I believe. Or maybe it was just like yesterday. Maybe it's ended by now.
I
Hopefully
could
it's ended by now because heat waves are not fun. But I looked on my weather app like 2 days ago, just randomly at Phoenix, Arizona, and it was at like 109 degrees Fahrenheit, which
it's
is
at 112 degrees right
they are not doing
like
well.
right now. 112 degrees.
They are not doing well. I mean, they're only like 20 degrees short of the maximum temperature ever achieved on Earth. Like, that's crazy. Um,
And they hit 128 degrees Fahrenheit.
128 degrees. Can they do it? I bet they're hoping it
Can
doesn't
we do it?
happen. I bet they're hoping they can't do it. But yeah, so
No,
anyone
they
currently
got me against them.
anybody currently in Phoenix, Arizona, um, sorry, I guess that's all I can say.
Melt.
I melt. I hope it cools off soon. But yeah, so these deserts are very hot places. That heat wave that just illustrates this. All of these deserts are very hot. So it's absolutely a hot desert. So yeah, that's all I
Then
have
we
to say here.
move a little colder.
Yep,
Here we go into the
cold
cold
desert.
desert, aka jumbo shrimp. Because cold desert, what?
Hmm.
But
Seems like a
yeah,
contradiction. Yeah. So this is BWK, and it's the pink color on here. So you see that it's tends to be farther away from the equator, but it's also about elevation. So when you get higher up, it tends to get colder. And a lot of these climates, um, basically, the closer you are to the equator, the higher elevation you need to be to qualify as this climate. And you see that a lot because there are some of the even the coldest climates, which are the E group, you can actually see them in, you know, the temperate zone of the globe, but they are at very high elevations. So yeah, so again, cold desert, it's the same like weird equation-y rainfall description, and it's less than that. But then instead of being above 18 degrees on average, it's below 18 degrees on average. Or if you use the alternate definition, instead of every month having more than 0 degrees Celsius, like temperature on average, 1 month, or I guess a few months, as many months as you want, may be below 0 degrees Celsius. So that's your situation, I guess. Um, so the cold desert. Let's look at some examples. All right. So we got Damascus, Syria, El Paso, Texas, Le India, which I just think is a funny name. Le India. It's like French. And then Walvis Bay,
it's like
Namibia.
a rage comic.
Yeah, Le Me,
How they're
Le India.
like,
Yeah. So, so yeah. Uh, El Paso, American city. I'm just gonna reference the American one because, let's not fool ourselves. I don't think anyone's staying up until 1 a.m. to watch the Gravimex live stream, but maybe they're rewatching it afterwards. So if you are, thank you. It is appreciated. Um, but yeah, so El Paso, Texas isn't as hot as you might think. You know what I mean? Like Texas is always thought of as it's just hot in Texas, but El Paso actually has an average below 18 degrees Celsius, which is like 68-ish degrees Fahrenheit. Um, Maybe a little less. I'm not up on my let's see. 64. Okay. Uh so yeah, I think it's pretty interesting that you can have cold deserts. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Yeah, so anything else on this? Oh my dad.
I like it.
He likes
I
it.
do like it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, pretty good. I would live there.
Mm, that's
I
cool.
like deserts. If I was an animal, I'd be a desert animal.
Which desert animal?
Which desert animal?
Yeah, would you be a
Uh,
scorpion?
nah, I would
No?
be a. You know the mouse that they found that like screams that was in that meme?
Okay,
The one that was like, ah,
I
in the
guess.
desert.
Okay, you'd be that one.
I'd be that one.
Hmm, interesting. All right. So he likes
Yeah.
the cold desert, and the hot desert, I guess.
I also like the hot desert. If you drop me in the middle of the Sahara, I'll survive.
Is that a challenge?
$100, $128.
100 bucks.
Drop me in the
Uh-huh.
middle of this. Start a
A
GoFundMe right now.
GoFundMe. Hi, I'm
Help
Bear
me.
Grylls. I'm
Yeah,
gonna be,
exactly.
yeah. All right. Anyways, yeah, let's move on to the next climate type. So here, it gets a little bit wetter, I guess you could say, but it's still pretty dry. It's just not as dry as the deserts because it's semi-arid. So that's what you got to think. The key word there, or the suffix, is semi, because it's a little bit, but not quite. So this is BSH, and that is hot semi-arid. So yeah, again, the designations for this, it's the same temperature designations, so it's above the 18-degree mark or above the 0-degree mark, depending on which definition you use. Um, and it is, has a little bit more rainfall than the cold or than the deserts would. So yeah, that's hot semi-arid. And I see your nickname for it, Texas.
Texas.
Yeah, if you look, the bottom, like the southern tip of Texas, is hot semi-arid. But yeah, so let's take a look at some cities. All right, we've got Alicante, Spain, Honolulu, Hawaii. I don't know how to pronounce that. I just realized. Um, I don't know. I'm not even gonna that Burkina Faso and Tripoli, Libya. I didn't think about pronunciation easiness difficulty when I was
Oh
writing
no,
these down.
that's Ouagadougou.
Ouagadougou. Okay.
Ouagadougou.
All right.
Yeah.
Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso is in
No,
the.
I actually had to memorize that.
Oh, he did. Wow, you
Yeah,
did?
because there was a point in time where I knew the capitals of every country on the planet.
Wow.
Now I just have the Western world, most of Europe,
Hmm.
most of Asia, and a little bit in Africa. I
Hmm.
suck at Africa and Southeast Asia. I suck.
Yeah. For what purpose did you memorize all these? For a class or something?
For not for fun, because
Sounds fun.
I I had a placemat that was just a world map and had all the
Ah,
capitals on, and
that's cool.
I just accidentally memorized like all of South America, Central America, and North America, and then I
Hmm.
was like,
R
why
slash
don't I go?
oops didn't mean to.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty cool
and
though.
all of these are the capitals of each country
Well,
except for
yeah,
Spain.
yeah. Um,
Hawaii's not a country as well, but
yeah, the nation of Hawaii.
the
Um,
nation. It used to be a nation. It
it
used to
used to
be a
be a nation.
country.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, I love this picture, the Hawaii picture from above,
Yeah,
the mountains, and that's probably a crater, I think, right there in the bottom right. Or
I can
maybe it's
check.
just a volcano caldera. Um, but it looks pretty cool. Yeah. A lot of like, it's interesting. We'll see this a bit more later, but a lot of like,
It is a crater.
oh, it is a crater. Wow.
Oh
That's
wait,
just,
no wait, hold on.
oh, is it a caldera?
It is a volcanic tuff cone.
Okay. A tough cone. Interesting.
It is. It's like a volcano that like shot itself and
Hmm.
blew the top part of
Yeah,
itself off. Yeah,
makes sense. That happens with volcanoes
but it's
sometimes.
also technically a crater, but
Okay.
not from an asteroid.
Hmm. All right, that makes sense. Yeah, I've been reading the book Blue Mars. I'm like 2/3 of the way through it, and there is so much like Mars geography in that book. It's great. Like I'm
Mm.
learning all the Mars geography. I'm like, okay, there's Pavonis Mons, Ascraeus Mons. Olympus Mons, obviously. Um, but I'm just like, I know everything. Not really, but I'm like, wow, I've got the craters, the calderas. It's fun. Um, but yeah, so hot semi-arid. That's the climate.
I like it. Welcome to Texas.
Yep.
It's dope. I like it.
Yeah, he likes it. All right. So now the last one of the B group is BSK, the cold semi-arid. So
Wet.
West Texas. Yep. Yeah. So you got to think of the pretty much you can think of the B group climates as a Punnett square with the like temperature on one side and the dryness on the other side. So this is the last square, you know what I mean? Um, so again, it's a little bit wetter than the desert climates, and the coldness is that it's below the 18-degree mark or the 0-degree mark, depending on the definition. And yeah, let's just jump right into the examples, you know? Um, yeah, so we got Alexandra, New Zealand, Boise, Idaho, Denver, Colorado, and Lethbridge, Canada. That's a nice picture of Denver, I think. Like with the snow. I like that.
Oh, I also have all the states, by the way. I've
Nice.
had all the
Yeah.
state capitals known.
That was fifth grade. We had to do that, remember?
Yeah, I'd already knew. I'd known for like years,
He
so I got it
already
perfect.
knew.
And
The mad lad.
yeah, I was the big man on campus for like a
Yeah.
good week there, and
Everyone was
then I
like
went back to being the scum of the earth.
everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, what's the capital of Montana? Help."
Oh, you know.
Yep. Anyways, yeah. These are nice places, you know? Like they all look really nice in these pictures.
Yeah, no, I
Like the
like this. I think,
foliage.
yeah, I like this. I
Yeah.
would live here.
Yeah. It's nice. Yeah, I would live in these places. A lot of these climates are pretty nice, and a lot of them are nice to visit. You know what I mean? Um,
Who
but yeah,
knew Idaho is livable?
who knew? Yeah, I thought
Who
only
knew?
like potatoes lived there. Like what?
Exactly, bro.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So that's the cold semi-arid, and that rounds out the B group. So these are all dry climates, and they may be hot or cold. So that's fun. Shall
Group
we?
C,
Yeah, Group C,
temperate
temperate.
climate.
Yep,
Temperate's like middle.
middle.
It's like the mid range. So there's a lot of Group C. I think
Yep.
there's even more Group D
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
So
So
yeah, go ahead.
Group C, just like Group B with the Punnett square, in Group C, we introduce a more complicated Punnett square. So whereas Group B, we had two options on each side and then ended up with two squared climates, so four climates. In Group C, we have three options on each side and end up with nine climates. So, yeah, so we'll just, jump right into it. Uh, all right, so we start with CSA, hot summer Mediterranean climates, aka the good parts of Europe.
The good parts of Europe. I stand by it.
Mhm.
It is a mistake that it hits France in that little bit. That is a complete mistake.
Uh-huh.
Köppen messed up on that.
Mm, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So this is, I mean, the name says it all, Mediterranean, right? You think like Italy, southern Spain, Greece, like these are nice climates in Europe, but also they exist in the US too. So yeah, let's go over the technical specifications for this climate, okay? So what we have is, okay, so this is CSA, it's down here. All right. So the coldest month of the year must average above 0 degrees Celsius. Okay. So that's kind of like the alternate definition for the hot desert slash hot semi-arid. So the coldest month must average above 0 degrees Celsius. At least 1 month must average above 22 degrees Celsius. And at least 4 months must average above 10 degrees Celsius. And then there has to be at least 3 times as much precipitation in the winter as there is, or sorry, at least 3 times as much precipitation in the wettest month of winter as in the driest month of summer. and the driest month of summer receives less than 30 millimeters of rainfall. So that's quite nebulous, I would say. Like there's a lot in there in this climate type. Um, but what you have to think is that these are hot, dry summers, okay? And the winters, while they say they are wet, like they're wetter, but they aren't actually particularly rainy. Uh, so you'll get what I mean. I'll just show you the examples. We got Los Angeles, California, Perth, Australia, Rome, Italy, and Tel Aviv, Israel. So yeah, basically, the winters are just, fairly dry, and then the summers are super dry. That's kind of how they get like this. That's why the winter is technically wetter than the summer. Um, and so, yeah, it never gets below 0 degrees here. I mean, on average, the average month. So it still can, like, on one day get below 0 degrees, but um, in general, it won't. And these are all in Celsius, by the way. I'm not sure if
Mm.
I've been saying that, but these are all in Celsius. So, yeah, I think this picture is from the Griffin or Griffith Observatory, right? The Los Angeles one with the Hollywood sign in the background.
You've been to LA. I've never been to LA.
Yeah, I've been to this observatory. It's like a science museum. I just forget if the last letter is the TH or the N. But yeah, I'm actually pretty near to Los Angeles right now, so I am currently visiting this climate type. I am currently inhabiting a space
Look at you,
that's
hot
in this,
summer Mediterranean.
yeah, hot summer. I'm really feeling that hot summer in the Mediterranean. Um, it's pretty hot outside. Uh, yeah, because the heat wave in Arizona has sort of like carried over a little bit. You know what I mean? Convection, I guess. So it's not as bad as it is there, but it's pretty hot. So yeah, fun climate type with all the different months of the year having different temperatures. So yeah, shall we
Now
move
we
on?
move on.
All
We
right,
move on
CSB.
to warm summer Mediterranean.
Yeah, so this is the warm summer Mediterranean, so it's a little bit colder, and AKA
Yeah, Oregon. Beavers. I've
nice.
never been to Oregon.
He has never been. Me neither. I've never been. I don't. Yeah, no, I've never been to Oregon. So yeah, so this climate type is slightly different, but you'll see the similarities between the CSA and the CSB. So the CSB, the coldest month averages above 0 degrees Celsius. All months average below 22 degrees Celsius, and at least 4 months average above 10 degrees Celsius. And then at least 3 times as much precipitation in the wettest month of winter as in the driest month of summer. And the driest month of summer receives less than 30 millimeters of rainfall. So, what this means is that it's pretty much exactly the same as CSA, except no months of the year get above 22 degrees Celsius. And 22 degrees Celsius is like 70-ish degrees Fahrenheit. Where is that written? 71.6 degrees Fahrenheit. So you got to think of the hot summer Mediterraneans, think of Los Angeles like super hot summer. But the warm summer Mediterranean have more temperate summers. They are warm, I guess, you know, as the name suggests. So, yeah, let's take a look. We've got Cape Town, South Africa, San Francisco, California, Santiago, Chile, Victoria, Canada. So, yeah, these are some pretty cool places. Um, yeah.
That is the capital of South Africa.
Hmm,
And that's also the capital of Chile.
nice. Yeah. So, yeah, I really like the South Africa picture. It's very vibrant. The San Francisco picture, I think you can see the smog in this picture.
Oh no,
Yeah,
that
but
is an L.
otherwise, the bridge, the little flowers in the foreground is nice. Just ignore the smog in the background.
What a slum.
Yeah. Um,
What an absolute slum.
so this climate type, Northern California, and then it goes up through Oregon and even into Washington a little bit. So this is like your Pacific Northwest climate, which is pretty cool. And then, yeah, just a little bit in Australia, South America, and South Africa. I mean, that's a really small dot if you actually look at the map. That's pretty interesting. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for this climate tape. All
All
right.
right. Cold summer Mediterranean. Cold summer? That doesn't make sense. Well, we're here to tell you that it does not make sense, and that's why it's not an actual climate.
All right.
Because if you look at this map, there's no brown
Mm,
per the key,
yeah, it's confusing.
but
Um,
somehow examples. So
yeah, who
give
knows?
it up for
The
Max.
mysteries of life. Um, yeah, thank you. So, cold summer Mediterranean climate. So the coldest month averages above 0 degrees Celsius, and 1 to 3 months average above 10 degrees Celsius. And then at least 3 times as much precipitation in the wettest month of winter as in the driest month of summer, and the driest month of summer receives less than 30 millimeters. So again, all of the CSs, the CS climates all have the same precipitation thing. They all have the same situation. But the key difference in CSC is that only 1 to 3 months of the year have a temperature that averages above 10 degrees Celsius. Whereas remember in CSB, while no month of the year could get above 22 degrees Celsius, at least four had to average above the 10 degrees Celsius mark. So in this climate type, 1 to 3 have to average above that mark, and the rest can be cold but not so cold because they still have to be above zero. That's the C part. The C part is that it all has to be above zero. Um, but yeah, so it's interesting. If this were to go down, the reason it's 1 to 3 is that another climate type actually has 0 months above 10 degrees Celsius, but every month is also, well, not every month, but some months are above 0 degrees Celsius. So if this climate were to fall below and didn't have any months above 10 degrees Celsius, then it would be a different climate type. So that's why it's 1 to 3. But yeah, so let's look at some examples. I think there's only two of them. Oh no, there's actually quite a few.
There's four. You outdid yourself,
I
Max.
outdid myself.
You
Um,
outperformed your own
yeah,
expectations.
my own expectations. So we've got Akureyri, Iceland,
Good try.
Haleakala, Hawaii, Harstad, Norway, and Spirit Lake, Washington. So this is the picture of Hawaii that I say really looks like Mars, especially the rocks in the bottom left-hand corner. You see that?
I
That
can if they've ever filmed anything.
I wonder if yeah, if they've filmed anything. I'm not sure, but I know that a ton of like Martian simulation things, they always do it in Hawaii. Um, remember, I think we mentioned this, like, I think it was in the isolation episode. We talked about how you can just apply for the Hawaii like Mars simulation with a Google form. You remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so this is where they conduct the Mars simulations, presumably. Um, but yeah, so you see Iceland, Norway, the top of a mountain, Washington. These are colder places, you know what I mean? Um, they're either north, they're either in the north or up at high elevations. Yeah, it's really weird though that we can't see it at all on this map. I don't know what's up. It's buggy, you know? It's very strange. Um, And the funny thing about this is that there are no climates on the actual Mediterranean Sea that have this climate type. Um, but regardless, that it is what it is, right? So, yeah. Is there anything else you have to say about the CSs?
Um, CS, Mediterranean.
Yep,
Food's good,
true.
and we move on to the CWs.
There we go. CW. So, CWA, dry winter, humid subtropical climate.
Albus Percival Wulfric Brian Dumbledore.
Yeah. So,
A
these
long name.
names when we first came across this one, we're like, wow, that's a long name. But then we got to some even longer names and we're like, okay, this isn't good. these names are very long, but they're descriptive at least, right? So, okay. So CWA, right?
That light green.
Yep, the lighter green,
Yeah,
not the like lime green. It's like more of a
I would call that more of a chartreuse.
okay. All right, that's a great name for it.
One time I met someone whose favorite color was chartreuse. Stabbed them on sight. I kid you not.
It isn't the best
Then,
color.
then I met, and
It's
then I
like
met someone whose favorite color was beige.
get
Unironically,
out. Are they from
unironically, their
Switzerland?
favorite color was beige.
They are neutral. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this isn't. It's like it's always. It reminds me of like grossness. Like this color,
Mhm.
CWA color. I don't like it. Um. Anyways, so okay, here we go. So CWA climate, right? The coldest month averages above 0 degrees Celsius. Okay. And at least 1 month's average temperature is above 22 degrees Celsius, and at least 4 months averaging above 10 degrees Celsius. So that's the A part. You remember that, if you remember correctly, the CSA climate had the exact same temperature description. So since they share the A, again, remember it's like the Punnett square. So since they share the A, they share the same climate like temperature description. So the difference here is going to be the W, which is going to be about precipitation. So now we get into that. So at least 10 times as much rain in the wettest month of summer as in the driest month of winter. And then alternate definition is 70% or more of average annual precipitation is received in the warmest 6 months. So if you think about it, that's quite quite the disparity for the CSAs, which had like dry summer, wet winter. Winter was only 3 times as wet as summer, but here, summer is 10 times as wet as winter in some instances, which is just crazy. And again, depending on definition.
Insane.
But yeah, so let's look at some examples. We got Guadalajara, Mexico. We got Hanoi, Vietnam. We got Hong Kong and Pretoria, South Africa. So yeah,
I love how you didn't add anything for
yep,
Hong Kong. Said Hong Kong.
Hong Kong. Uh,
We can point to it on the map.
uh-huh.
And that's about it.
Yep. It's in dispute.
In
It's
dispute. Yeah.
yeah. So, but look at all these pictures, right? You see that same type of tree that like really like I don't know, like thick, like the leaves are very dense type of tree. Like these are like jungle trees. So this is a lot like I would consider this, although it's a C type climate, it's very similar to the A type climates. Um, it's like in summer, it's like it's a part-time A type climate. You know what I mean? Like in the summer, it's like that, but then in the winter, it gets a little bit drier and a little bit like cooler, so it's not as bad. It's like a light demo version. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so these are pretty cool, and no examples in America, so I couldn't give you guys an America-centric example there. Um,
How will we ever
how will
relate?
we ever live? Yeah. Anyways, that's all I have to say. Should we
Let's
go to the
go
next one?
over to CFA.
CFA. Yeah, CFA climate. That part of America.
America.
Um,
Perfectly, lands on the
yeah,
Confederacy.
it's quite
Basically.
shocking. The if you look at the like border of the like CFA climate type, it feels like it traces out the former borders of the Confederacy, which is I don't know, scary.
A little sus.
It's suspicious, yeah. Um, but regardless, I think it's like a fairly nice weathered, like the climate
I
is
do
nice.
like it. Yeah.
Um, So yeah, so let's do the CFA. So since it's the A, it's got the same temperature description. So above 0 degrees all the time, above 22 degrees once, and above 10 degrees 4 times. Okay. But then here we go is the rainfall, right? So the rainfall is no significant precipitation difference between seasons, um, and no dry months in the summer, which is kind of a redundant statement, but yeah, it's always rainy the same amount. All right. So let's look at some examples. These are some nice examples. Sarasota, Florida. Yeah, this is where I live. Sydney, Australia, Tokyo, Japan, and Venice, Italy. Um, so yeah, I like this climate, the CFA climate, because I live there. Um, except it's interesting. We're actually where I live is on the border with the like monsoon climate because it says no significant rainfall difference, you know what I mean? However, in Sarasota, it rains like crazy in like August and September, but then the rest of the year isn't as much rainfall. However, since it doesn't meet the like 10 times more rainfall in the wettest month of summer, you know what I mean? It doesn't quite fit that description. Um, and so that's a bit of a problem. Remember, I said I like this system because it's quantitative rather than qualitative, but the word significant is fairly qualitative. You know what I mean? Because I would consider the rainfall significant. You know, like in the summer, I need to bring a raincoat with me, and in the winter, I don't. I would consider that significant. However, the classification system, would not consider it significant. So we're CFA. But that's one of the things where I was saying that it can be fairly different within the same climate type because of the classifications, but it's still pretty useful in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
yeah.
TFA is like clearly one of the worst climate types, as you can see the negative effects it has had on Max's mental health.
Okay. What?
No, I do like it. I do like the
Okay.
CFA climate. I would what when I went to it hits South Carolina,
Yeah.
right? It does.
All of
So
South Carolina's in there.
I usually experience that in August when I
Mm-hmm.
go to South Carolina,
Mm-hmm. Is it unpleasant?
and it's pretty plain. In August, it's like it gets really hot
Mm-hmm.
and really humid,
That's
but
why we left.
showers exist and all of it. So
Yeah. We're gonna be going back though on like Tuesday. I'm going back, so it's gonna be very hot when I get back. It's gonna be the dead of July. Um,
yeah,
but that's okay. Something interesting though, again, if you look at the elevation, you see up in the America section of this, that little like dip where there's like a hole punched out of it on the sort of near the east coast, like off the top part, you see that? That's actually the Appalachian Mountains. So because of how high the Appalachian Mountains are, they actually bring some of this land outside of the CFA zone, which is like if there were no Appalachians, you wouldn't have that little valley there. You see that? So that's kind of interesting. Um, so yeah. All right, let's go to the next one. We got CWB, the dry.
futurology in the chat.
Oh, futurology. Let's see what futurology has to say. Okay, futurology says it's loading. Oh, okay. Futurology says, learning so much about the climate. Awesome live stream. Thank you, Futurology. Thanks for watching. And I'm very excited for you for you're almost at 10K subscribers, which is pretty cool. So congratulations on that. Um, yeah, what's the word? Preemptive congratulations. But
The
yeah,
negative effects of the CFA climate on Max's mental well-being.
uh-huh. My vocabulary is slipping. That's the
Yeah.
problem with online school. Not enough time to use your vocabulary. Anyways, yeah. So
How ludicrous of
how
you, Max,
ludicrous. Yes.
to abandon your vernacular
Thank you.
for
Wow.
the sake of not pursuing academia. Begone with your dogma.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Anyways, so we've got the dry winter subtropical highland. That's what it's called. It's called the Highland. Um, I don't know why. It doesn't need to be.
Wait, okay, wait. I just realized
Yeah.
this. After 4 seasons,
Hmm.
you put the date, year, month, day.
Hmm. Uh-huh.
The hell is wrong with
It's
you?
the superior system. Year, month, day is the best
What
system.
country does that?
None. Here's the reasoning. If you put them in, like, if you do year, month, day and then put everything in alphabetical order, it'll be like that. It'll go in order of date chronologically. So it's the best. I have logic to it, okay?
The hell is wrong with you?
Oh,
You should have
futurology.
named
Futurology
yourself
says,
year, month, day. Ugh.
hmm
I bet there's some island off the coast of like Serbia or
hmm
some country that does that, and all of our viewers in that country off the coast of Serbia are like losing their minds right now. They're like, "He did it!
he did
He
it.
did it!
No,
He
the
did
reasoning
the
is
deed!"
no country uses it as their official system, but I think it's used internationally for filing, for like computer files. So,
All of our AI viewers out there, we would
yep,
like to personally thank you
yeah,
for watching the Gravity.
yeah.
Futurology says
Yeah, that's
thanks
what I was about to say. Yeah,
in the
futurology
chat.
says thanks, man, means a lot. Of course, futurology. Always, it was fun to do the collab a while ago. Um, but yeah, so we got the AKA vacation to Mexico because there are a few places in Mexico that have this climate type. Oh yeah, so let me give you guys the rundown, the description. You should kind of be able to piece it together based on the former descriptions, but yeah, so it's okay. Coldest month averaging above 0 degrees. All months averaging below 22 degrees, and at least 4 months averaging above 10 degrees. And then we have, since it's W, that gives it the at least 10 times as much rain in the wettest month of summer as in the driest month of winter. And then 70% alternate definition too. So this is the like wet summers part-time group A, you know what I mean? So yeah, let's just look at these examples. Um, we've got Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, Cusco, Peru, Johannesburg, South Africa, and Mexico City, Mexico. So yeah, quite a few capitals here, I would say, right? Two, I think, Addis Ababa and Mexico City, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, yeah. So
Mhm.
these aren't like as hot as the A's, you know what I mean? Because this is the B's, so the summer is a bit colder. So you see Cusco, Peru. You see the mountains in the background. These places, not only due to being further away from the equator, but also due to being further elevated, um, their temperatures are a bit colder. So yeah, that's all I really have to say
And
about this one.
Addis Ababa is the capital of Ethiopia.
Yay.
Mexico City is the capital of Mexico.
It would be really it would be really strange if it wasn't, right? Mexico City, cough cough, New York. Um,
Cough, cough, Missouri or
yeah,
Kansas or any of it.
cough cough everywhere. Yeah,
Why can't we just have Florida City?
yeah. Come on, Florida City, Florida, capital of Florida. I want to introduce a bill to the state legislature. Change the name of Tallahassee to Florida City.
And why is Tallahassee the capital anyway?
Mm. I bet it's because it was like I think usually it's because it's like there first. Maybe. I don't
Mm.
know. Anyways,
It sounds like a Native American name, Tallahassee. I'm
probably
gonna find
is.
out. You can keep going.
Kind of like the Lake Okeechobee. Um, but yeah, okay. Here we go. CWC. So this has this.
Oh yeah, wait, you were totally right.
Yeah.
It all it All Tallahassee means is old town.
Old Town. That's great. Um, but yeah, so CWC is the dry winter subpolar oceanic climate, which is complicated. However,
Madagascar 4.
yep. So this climate type has the same precipitation description as the last one, with 10 times as much rain in the wettest month of summer as in the driest month of winter. But the temperature is colder. It's like the other sea climates you've seen. So this one has all months averaging above zero and only 1 to 3 months averaging above 10 degrees Celsius. So yeah. So yeah, let's look at these examples right here. This is one with only two. There's El Alto, Peru, and Puno, Peru. So both of these places, you see the mountains in the background. Yeah, El Alto, the elevated. I mean, that says it all. You know what I mean? The elevated. Like it's high up these climates. So yeah, there's not much to say about this one. It's just colder. You know what I mean?
Peru.
Peru. Yeah. All right. Shall I go on to the next one?
We shall.
We shall. Okay. CFB.
Oceanic. The
Oceanic.
prerequisite be near water.
Yeah.
That's why you see the islands,
Hmm.
as in Ireland, the UK, New Zealand, are just oceanic
Hmm.
because they're near water,
Yep.
which is the ocean,
Hmm.
which is the main 5 out of the 7 letters in the word oceanic.
Yep.
IC means that suffix means it's an adjective, adjective, noun, a descriptor word.
Thank you. Um, yeah, this is like oceanic. That's the only name, pure oceanic climate. Like no weird, annoying descriptors in front of it. Like
I've
not.
heard it stuff. I've heard it stuff hard
Hmm.
from people that live in the UK, people that live in Ireland,
Uh-huh.
people that live in New Zealand. They're like, hot damn, does this weather suck?
Okay. Well, let's go over it for everybody. Um,
Let's go.
so this is the B type temperature. So the coldest month averaging above 0 degrees, all months with average temperatures below 22 degrees, and at least 4 months averaging above 10 degrees. And so then there is no significant precipitation difference between seasons. So yeah, that's where you get the trope where people always say, it's always rainy in England. They always say that. It's always rainy in England. And if you look at the climate type, it's true because the precipitation would not vary throughout the year. Otherwise, it would be a different climate type. So yeah, always rainy in England. I suppose it could also be always not rainy, but they don't get that luxury, I guess. Um, but also another significant island that is all occupied by this climate type is New Zealand. You see that? All of New Zealand is green, like CFB as well. So yeah, let's go to the examples. We got Block Island, Rhode Island, London, England, Melbourne, Australia, and Paris, France. So yeah, whereas the hot summer Mediterranean climate was your like classic image of Southern Europe, this is your classic image of Northern Europe. England, France in this climate type, Melbourne, Australia in this climate type, and then Block Island, Rhode Island. You might not all know of it, but it's like this island off the coast of Rhode Island, which isn't itself an island, but it's named that. um, and it's like a little vacation spot destination.
What do you mean Block Island isn't an island?
No, Rhode Island isn't an island.
Rhode Island isn't.
That's what I was saying. Rhode
Ah,
Island isn't an island, but Block Island is an island owned by the state of Rhode Island that isn't an island.
why is it called Rhode Island?
I don't know. They probably encountered the islands first, I guess, because it's a pretty islandy place. Like there are quite a few islands in Rhode Island, but you know, it's weird. It, I don't know.
Um,
I do not
it
know.
was uh, an Italian guy showed up,
Okay.
and he wasn't too smart.
All right.
That's the first theory. The
First
second
theory.
theory, a Dutch guy showed up.
And he wasn't too smart.
He didn't know what an island was.
All right.
So it's either the Italians' fault or the Dutch's fault. And
Okay.
I'm okay with either.
He's okay with either. But yeah, Block Island's a pretty nice place actually. It's like a few miles across, like you can see the whole thing, in fairly good detail from this elevation. Like this picture looks like it's taken from a plane, like a small, like a personal plane. That would just be my guess. And you can see there's like beaches around the whole thing. So, although CFB Oceanic, like you think of always rainy England, it can also be, a fairly popular summer destination. So who knows, right? It can be a little bit of both, I would say.
All right. CFC.
Yeah, CFC.
Subpolar Oceanic. I almost
Yep.
said Arctic there. That is
Subpolar polar, pretty much. Yeah. So,
AKA climate jokes are hard. You try making a joke about subpolar oceanic.
yeah. So so subpolar oceanic. Again, consistent rainfall, just like the last one. But it has the C-type temperature, so that's coldest month above zero, and 1 to 3 months above 10. So that's how that goes. Um, and yeah, so they're subpolar, so they are almost like polar, really cold climates. But yeah, let's look at the examples. We've got Reykjavik, I think that's how it's pronounced.
Reykjavik.
Reykjavik, Iceland. Rio Grande, Argentina. Roast, Norway. I don't know. And paradoxically, Unalaska, Alaska. Is it Alaska? Isn't it Alaska? Nobody knows. Um,
Schrodinger.
Schrodinger's Alaska. Um, yeah, so these are pretty nice places, but again, they're fairly elevated. That's the tendency, or they're fairly far north, and it's chilly. Not chilly the country, it's cold. um,
Is roast if that's how you say it. I'm saying it like roast, like you throw it on your barbecue.
yeah, exactly.
But is roast Norway even a place?
It is. This
Like
is just.
a town?
Mhm.
It just looks like a rock.
Well, this is just a
And
picture.
not the country.
Yeah, this is just a picture outside of it. I don't know. This is the first like picture on this wiki. Here, wait, let me show you. I'll look it up. Maybe I picked a
Let's go
bad picture. Roast Norway. Uh,
roast.
sounds like a command. I'm gonna roast Norway. Yeah, it's the first. It's the first image. Okay. So there are a few other images, but it's just like sheep, ice, and barns. Okay. So I think you can get the
I'm
picture.
looking up how to pronounce roast.
Okay. Yeah. So these are some pretty nice places to visit, I would say. Like I would like to visit a lot of these places.
I'm listening to the pronunciation right now.
Hmm. Any good? Were we close?
Oh my god.
How's it pronounced?
Okay, wait.
Is it like roost?
It's like there's a U in it.
So like roost, like that?
It's like rust, but it's
Rough.
like there's like a silent but there U in. It's like rust is
Rust.
kind of how they're saying it. They're like
Okay.
rust.
Rust. There you
Yeah,
go. Rust, Norway. Um,
but then they roll the R too, so
Rust,
it's like.
Norway. All
But
right.
I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Roast Norway is how we're
Roast,
calling it.
Norway. Yeah, but these are like nice places, you know what I mean? Like I would visit for a week, like go to a
Definitely.
nice ski lodge or something, get some hot cocoa by the fire. Um, yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
that's the
Group
end of the
D.
C group. So, yeah, here we go. D group,
Yeah.
continental climates. So, I don't
Do you
know.
live on a continent.
Do you live on a
This
continent?
may apply to you.
This may apply.
Call now.
Yeah, I don't know who decided that continental was colder than temperate. I guess continents are known for being cold. I did not know that that was a
I can name
stereotype
a
of
few.
climates, of continents. Yeah. I can name a few continents that are not cold. Yeah. Who knows, right? Who knows? So, the group D continental climates, the key difference from the C climates is that the sea climates don't have any months of the year that average below 0 degrees Celsius, but the D climates do have at least 1 month of the year that averages below 0 degrees Celsius. So they're a bit colder, but like technically, right? Again, it's with these weird definition things where like it wouldn't actually happen, but you could manufacture a situation where it could happen. That like a sea type climate could have, uh, every month of the year could be like 1 degree Celsius, and then the hottest month of the year is 23 degrees Celsius to get it into like the CFA group. But then the DFA group, you could have, 1 month of the year is -1 degrees Celsius, and then every other month is like a billion. You know what I mean? So it's not technically doesn't have to be not necessarily colder than the C type climates, but it tends to be. So that's what I would say. All right, so let's get started. Start with DSA. Dry, hot summer, humid continental.
Albus Percival Wulfric Brian Dumbledore II.
Yeah, so these names get, I would say, worse. Um, the D group climates,
D group sucks.
they
D
have
group
horrible
sucks.
names. They have
Oh my
horrible
god.
climate type names. It's a little annoying. Um, but yeah, so DSA, here we go, right? So it is called So the coldest month is averaging below 0 degrees Celsius. The average temperature of the warmest month is above 22 degrees Celsius, and at least 4 months averaging above 10 degrees Celsius. And so then there's at least 3 times as much precipitation in the wettest month of winter as in the driest month of summer. So and the driest month of summer is less than 30 millimeters rainfall. So we bring back the SWF does not change. It's only the A, B, and C that change by including the below 0 degrees thing. So these are all very subtle differences if you think about it. Like they're only changing one clause of each definition. However, um, it still makes quite a difference. If you were to live in one of these climate types versus another, you would easily see like, yeah, this is pretty different. So it's interesting. Um, let's take a look at the examples here. We've got Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan, Moose, Turkey, I think. I don't know. And then Salt Lake City, Utah, and Saqqez, Iran. So,
Look up how to pronounce mush.
yeah, I don't know how that S is pronounced and then the U. It's just a mess. But I know how to pronounce Salt Lake City, Utah. So yeah, think about Salt Lake City, Utah. Isn't that an interesting place? So dry summers, but then cold, which I think is pretty nice because I'm not a fan of humidity too much. That's like my one grievance, I would say, with the Florida climate is that it gets too humid. Otherwise, the temperature is beautiful. So,
So I was joking about it being pronounced mush. It's actually pronounced mush.
all right, mush turkey.
Mush turkey.
Again, sounds like a command. I love the town names that sound like a command. Um,
Yeah.
do it. Uh,
Do it.
a town named
Rain.
Do in a country called It. I will found the independent nation of It for this sole purpose. Do it.
There you go.
Anyways, yeah. So that's this climate type. Um, if you look on the map, it's the light. It's the magenta. So not a lot of it. There is not a lot of magenta. There's a little bit in the U.S. That's where the Salt Lake City is, but
Yeah.
not very prevalent. Yeah. All right. So shall we go to the next one?
To DWA.
DWA.
Hot summer, dry winter.
Yeah.
Humid Continental, also known as the problematic Asian country.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
if you look on the map, self-explanatory. It's that I don't even know what color that is. Like purple, maybe
Indigo. Light indigo. That's what I would say.
light. So yeah, it hits North Korea, China, Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Enough said. Enough
those are
said.
the problem kids.
Yeah, but the climate might be nice, so yeah. All right, so DWA. We got coldest month averaging below 0 degrees Celsius, at least 1 month's average temperature above 22 degrees Celsius, and at least 4 months above 10 degrees Celsius. And then at least 10 times as much rain in the wettest month of summer as in the driest month of winter. And then alternate definition with the 70% like of the rain is in the warmest months thing. So, yeah. Actually, I don't even like this climate type that much either, I must say. It combines my two
Oh,
least favorite things. It's cold and it's humid. So I'm out. Yeah,
he's out.
he's out. Yeah, so we got Beijing, China, North Platte, Nebraska, Nebraska, Pyongyang, North Korea, and Seoul, South Korea. There we go. I feel like I'm like tongue tied today, like tongue twister. Um, I can't speak good, you know?
Say Coit boat or Troy boat.
I'm not even going to try.
You know,
Um,
it's the hardest tongue twister ever.
yeah, sounds like it. So look at this. I really like the pictures here with the mountains in the background. That's like my favorite kind of picture here. Like you have the city on like the level place, and then you got the mountain in the background. I just think that looks so nice. Um, but yeah, so that's this climate type. You
Yeah.
know, problematic Asian countries and Nebraska. I don't think
The
you need
most
to even say
problematic
and.
Asian country.
The most, yeah, exactly. Nebraska is the most problematic Asian country. Um, it's just such an inconvenience, Nebraska. Um,
Yeah.
anyways, yeah,
But we can move on to DFA.
yeah, DFA. All right,
Hot,
yeah, hot
humid.
summer humid continental. So the DFAs are pretty nice. Let me read you the description. Oh yeah, this is our place. So the coldest month averaging below 0 degrees Celsius, at least 1 month's temperature averaging above 22 degrees Celsius, and at least 4 months averaging above 10 degrees Celsius. So it's the same temperature description as the last two, but here there's no significant precipitation difference between seasons. So it's always a consistent amount of rain. So it's either always very rainy, always not rainy, or always a little bit rainy. So yeah, let's look at these examples. And these are some fairly well-known examples, I would say. You got Chicago, Illinois, New York City, New York, Sapporo, Japan, and Westport, Connecticut, which is our northern base of operations. But yeah, Chicago, New York, two out of the three biggest cities in the nation right there. Um, and yeah, this is your like, you know, this is a very prolific climate type, you know what I mean? Like some of the other climate types are a bit more niche and like you don't really think of them that much, but like just because of how common like New York City is in movies or how common Chicago is in cities, people I would say are more familiar with this climate type even if they don't live there. So yeah, this climate type you get the seasons because since the coldest month has to be below 0 and the hottest month has to be above 22, that means that you'll have hot summers and cold winters. So I like that picture in New York with the snow everywhere. That's pretty cool. And then Westport, that's a nice picture of the trees, I would say. The autumn trees, the foliage. I've heard that some people literally like go up to the northeast just to see the leaves in fall. Um, which I think is wow. Like, you know what I mean? I wouldn't necessarily say it's stupid, but it just feels like a lot of effort to see some trees. You know what I mean?
People do as people do.
People, yeah, it's my one vice. I just have to go up to the Northeast every fall to look at the trees. I just can't bear to be without it.
A lot of those trees aren't there anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, that
Huh.
picture's got to be from like way far ago because a majority of those trees are not there
That's
right now.
sad. That is, it is a sad day. Um,
Yeah,
so
that's
what do
the
you
old
think?
library. They renovated that library,
Uh-huh.
which is
Yeah.
the red building by the bridge.
Yep.
But yeah. So as you know, I currently live, and Max previously lived
Hmm.
in a DFA, a
Yeah.
hot summer humid continental. It's been raining and thunderstorming a lot
Hmm.
lately. I would say like 7 out of the past 10 days has been thunderstorms.
Wow.
So it's it's pretty. It's not raining right now. Actually, pretty
Hmm.
sunny.
Yeah,
Very
it's
good.
interesting because while
Yeah,
Westport in this DFA, while it's supposed to be like consistent rainfall, it tends to be like there's rainfall streaks every once. There's like rain
yeah,
week every once in a while. Um,
yep.
but then Florida's interesting because they pretty much take all of the rain weeks and just back to back marathon it, you know? Um, and
They
it's
just
crazy.
flame it all.
Yep, it's fun. Um,
Yep,
yeah,
but
so.
it's decent. It's like I can't really complain.
Mhm.
Max and I were talking about it earlier. Um, I would be fine living here. It's just I know that there's better climates.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I'm a guy, I like the heat, I like hotter climates. So since the DFAs like the winter months, especially where we live, the winter months were brutal. Like it would just be all the way through. It would be like snowy and cold and miserable. And it would be like it would get really dark really early, which is more of just a, I don't know, physics, math thing, just because of where we are on the globe and less of a climate thing. But that wasn't the best. Um, but it's still pretty nice compared to some of these other ones. But yeah, I prefer my current climate type to this climate type.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I would too.
yeah,
I would
but
definitely
only
say,
slightly, only by one notch on the eventual tier list that you'll get to
yeah,
see. Um, but yeah, okay. So now we got DSB. So this is dry, warm summer humid continental. Yeah, it is confusing. So DSB is so the temperature description is the B temperature description. So 1 month at least averages below zero. All of the months average below 22, and at least 4 months average above 10. So then the like rain description is the S description. So at least 3 times as much precipitation in the wettest month of winter as in the driest month of summer, and the driest month of summer is less than 30 millimeters of rainfall. So, yeah. I mean, at this point, they might be getting repetitive, but it's sort of like we're recombining each of these descriptions over and over again. You know what I mean? It's like we're
mhm,
shuffling a deck of cards and then picking two cards. That's pretty much what all these climate types are, I would say. Um, so, yeah, let's look at these examples here. We got
yeah,
only three of them because this isn't super common. So, we've got Dras, India, Sivas, Turkey, and South Lake Tahoe, California. Yeah.
nice places.
Yeah. Yeah, like again, the mountains in the background. Um, so yeah, this is colder because while the DAs, they actually sort of couldn't get too cold because if they got too cold, then their warmest month wouldn't be able to get up to 22 degrees Celsius. But the DBs, they like drop a bar, you know what I mean? Because the bar used to be 22 and now it's down to 10. So they can get much colder. So they're not as pleasant, I would say. Yeah, so that's all I have to say about this one.
Yeah, I
It's
like it.
interesting, actually, that a lot of the D climates and eventually the E climates, like, for some reason, they are absent in the southern hemisphere. It's so strange. Um, But I think a good explanation is that the southern hemisphere only contains something like 10% of the Earth's land, right? Or at least, or 10% of the Earth's population, and not that much land actually exists in the southern hemisphere, which is weird, you know? Like we're an unbalanced planet. Um, Not as unbalanced as Mars would be, though. It's actually interesting. Mars would have just a circumpolar ocean, uh, if there were water there. But anyways, let's continue to the next one. So we got DWB, warm summer, dry winter, humid continental. So that's the long description. Uh, and yeah, also known as the entire ocean.
because the color of the key is the same as the ocean.
Yep.
So the entire ocean is warm summer, dry winter, humid continental.
Yep.
But some actual. Did you read off
Oh no, I'll read the thing.
read off the
Um, okay, DWB. So the coldest month averaging below 0 degrees Celsius, all months with average temperatures below 22 degrees Celsius, and then 4 months averaging above 10 degrees Celsius. And here, since it's a W, it's at least 10 times as much rain in the wettest month of summer as in the driest month of winter. And then alternatively, 70% of the rainfall is in the warmest 6 months. So yeah, let's go to the examples of this one. We've got Calgary, Canada, Pembina, North Dakota, Pyeongchang, and this is a county actually, Pyeongchang County, South Korea, and then Vladivostok, Russia. So yeah, so these are colder places, um, like Russia, Canada. These are
Tell
cold
me,
countries.
tell me that picture of Pembina, North Dakota doesn't look apocalyptic or like it looks like a loading screen for Fallout.
It's a
Like
little
if you
bit
took if you
apocalyptic.
took the kids out of it,
Hmm.
that's a loading screen for Fallout right there.
Hmm. Well, the thing is, on the Wikipedia page, that is the image with the most buildings in it. I think this town only has one building and a water tower. Maybe not. Anybody in Pembina, North Dakota, relay to us.
I remember there's a town in North Dakota with only 4 people in it.
Mm, yeah, yeah.
So
Um, but yeah,
here,
so
let me edit this real quick. I'm gonna turn this into a Fallout
oh, he's
loading
gonna turn
screen.
into Fallout loading screen. Um, yeah, but so this climate type, if you think about it, it's interesting. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't think I like it too much because again, it's like the W climate types tend to be more humid than the F climate types, which tend to be more humid than the S climate types. Although it doesn't explicitly say that, the thing is that summers, like the hottest months of the year, the hottest season, tends to vary a lot in how much rainfall it can get, whereas the winter only varies a little bit. So when you have a W climate that says 10 times as much rain in the summer as the winter, that means the summer is a lot. It doesn't mean that the winter is a little. And so then when you get to the S's, which is the like 3 times as much rain in winter as in summer, it means that the summer is very little and the winter is again a normal amount. It's not that the summer's a normal amount and the winter's super humid. So it's a little, how would you say? It's a little, I don't know how to say it. I guess kind of like a misnomer.
What are you
Um,
trying to?
a little bit of a misnomer is what I'm saying here, because the
Mm-hmm.
W signifies dry winter and the S signifies dry summer. But a more accurate description, I would say, would be wet summer and dry winter, because the winter tends not to change that much, is what I'm saying. But yeah, so that's how it is. Do you have the loading screen, or should I go to the next one?
I give me do one more and then I'll have it.
Okay, all right, all right. So we're going to the next climate type, the DFB. Warm summer, humid continental with no variation. And this is also known as Canada and the less favorable side of Europe. I think it's nice, that side of Europe. You've got like Germany, Austria. Is Switzerland in there? Maybe a little bit. Yeah. And you got Sweden. I would say it's fairly favorable. Um,
Okay, Max, whatever you say.
just trying not to offend anyone, essentially. Um, but yeah, so the DFB climate type, the coldest month is below 0 degrees, and all months average below 22 degrees, and at least 4 months average above 10 degrees. So yeah, then there's no significant rainfall difference between seasons. Um, yeah, so let's look at the examples here. We got Moscow, Russia, Oslo, Norway, Ottawa, Canada, and Portland, Maine. So yeah, these are all pretty nice places, but again, they're super snowy. You know what I mean? Always pretty
Mm-hmm.
cold. So it's like if you want to live in a place that's always kind of cold, then go off. But I would not prefer
Go.
that. Go off. Uh, here, I'll be right back. I have a runny nose. Not COVID.
While he's gone, I would like to welcome everyone to the 128 seconds live stream. I'll be taking over from Max in his absence. We'll be talking about legal topics currently, such as who really owns Hong Kong and
No, no,
yogurt. Oh no, he
no.
found me.
All right. Before we get demonetized, where did I put my? Oh, gotta get my computer. Back.
The secret ingredients to yogurt.
No,
Oh, I
back to business. Okay. Um, let's see. So, do you have your loading screen that you want to show us?
do. I
All right.
do.
Let's
I
see.
do.
Where do you want to put it? Put it on the DFB slide.
Actually, I made it an entire
Oh,
slide.
he made an entire slide. Let's see where this is.
I can put it right after DFB. It is
Okay,
right after D.
that's great. Tip: avoid
There you go.
dying.
I
Yeah.
added some death claws in there to hide the kids.
Oh, I see them. Wow, look at them. Daruk, friend.
Yeah, it is the friend.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, all right. So let's go to the next climate type. We have this guy, which is DSC, and
DSC.
it is dry summer, regular subarctic. So once we get into the C and D's here, they get kind of trash, I would say. Like
Mhm.
the DAs and the DBs are like they're tolerable, but then you get into the DCs and the DDs, and I'm like, this isn't fun. So yeah, so DSC. Let's give you the description right here. Um, we got
Yui Films says
oh,
poggers, by the way,
he
in
says
chat.
poggers. Then he says, I don't even what is he trying to say there?
What?
After
Like
poggers?
what does poggers
No,
mean?
no, no, after poggers. Do you see the next message?
I do not.
It's You'll see it in a second.
Wait, let me reload.
Okay.
I do not see the next message after poggers. What do
Wow.
you see?
I see XIE, XIE, HUA, PIA, ZIE.
Bang bong chow.
I guess he knows what it is then. All right. I'm just gonna read off DSC. So we got coldest month averaging below 0 degrees, and 1 to 3 months averaging above 10 degrees. So yeah, it's getting colder. And at least 3 times as much precipitation in the wettest month of winter as in the driest month of summer. And driest month of summer receives less than 30 millimeters of rainfall. So yeah, this is the same sort of you know dry summer description essentially, but it is getting colder. It's pretty similar to the CSC. However, here it actually gets super cold in the winter, below 0 Celsius. So let's show these examples. All right, we got Anchorage, Alaska, Nierba, Russia, Skjak, Norway, and Whitehorse, Canada. So, yeah, these places are cold. There's snow in half of these pictures, and in the other half, this is the rare summer. And I put air quotes around summer because summer can be as cold as 51 degrees. You know what I mean? Like, I don't consider that summer. That's not a real summer. A real summer is in the 70s or 80s. So, yeah. Anyways, that's all I really have to say about this one. Oh, yeah, also known as cold.
Cold,
Yeah,
cold, pretty cold.
it's cold.
Cold.
So,
On to DWC.
yes,
Try
DWC.
with regular subarctic.
Yeah. So, here, it's pretty much the same thing as the DSC as it comes to temperature, right? So, 1 month or more below zero, 1 to 3 months above 10. So let's see. And then the description is it's like the monsoon type thing where at least 10 times as much rain in the wettest month of summer as in the driest month of winter. Alternatively, 70% of the rain is in the warmest 6 months of the year. So, all right, let's go. Oh, AKA Russia. Russia and the bad guys from Mulan. So, there you
There
go.
you go.
All right. Okay. So these are pretty obscure examples because there aren't a lot of good examples of these. These climate types become rarer as we continue. So we have Chita, Russia, Delta Junction, Alaska, Lukla, Nepal, and Mohe City, China. I think that's how it's pronounced. I don't know. Um, Bottom right, though, doesn't that look kind of nice?
That does look nice.
Like I would get a warm blanket, a little fire going, and like hot cup of hot chocolate and just sit there and I don't know, like read a book or something like that.
That
Um,
does look nice. I
yeah,
like that. That could be a wallpaper
that could be
right
a
there.
wallpaper, honestly, yeah. And then, you at night, right? Like I love this nighttime scene too. You get on your like thick coat, your thick jacket, walk out into the dark night and you look at the like the stars up in the sky because it would probably be really nice because no one lives here. You know what I mean? So you'd probably get some good astronomy. So yeah.
Yep.
So while it is it's a little sketch, this climate, I would not appreciate the cold. There is a little bit of like an idyllic scene that you can see here in Mohe City, China. Um, yeah, so it would be a nice place to visit for like a week, maybe. To have a little like
That's like
lodge.
super northern China, right?
Yeah, it's like upper like Manchuria, and it's in a mountain too.
Oh,
Yeah.
it is like the absolute northernmost.
Wow.
It is the northernmost
Oh,
Chinese city.
interesting. It's their anti-Key West, essentially. Yeah,
Okay.
so that's cool. Um, so yeah, that's it for this climate type. I don't have much more to say about it.
We move on to DFC,
DFC,
irregular subarctic,
regular subarctic.
aka where
Finally,
Jeffrey Epstein is hiding.
I didn't remember that that AKA. But yeah, finally a regular subarctic. You know what I mean? All these other subarctics were so strange. This one's regular. You know what I mean? So DFC. Okay. Coldest month averaging below 0 degrees Celsius, 1 to 3 months averaging 10 degrees Celsius, and no significant precipitation difference across seasons. So, yeah. All right. And let's look at the examples. We got Fairbanks, Alaska, Kangerlussuaq, Greenland, Oulu,
Good.
Finland, and Yellowknife, Canada. Am I close? I think I got probably half of those correct. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so look at that, Fairbanks, Alaska. That is a beautiful picture right there. The Aurora
Yeah.
Borealis. This time of day, in this part of the country.
Look
Um,
like. Hi. Your kitchen.
yep.
Yes.
But yeah, that's a cool picture though. And then with the trees, I love these pictures. So then, yeah, our Finland one, I love that. Like you can see the moon in the background in the top right. This is like sunset or something. I don't know what like institution that is, but it looks pretty cool, like a modernist building sort of. Yeah, and the Greenland.
McDonald's.
Okay, the Greenland place.
Might be a Wendy's. Might be a Wendy's.
I disagree. I disagree with that assessment. Um,
Let's find out. You
let's
keep
find out.
talking. I'll figure it out.
He'll figure it out. Okay. So the Greenland place looks very cold and kind of miserable. I would say. Like, look at all that exposed dirt. There are no plants here, at least in Greenland. The other places do actually support like trees and stuff, but in this part of Greenland, it is just dirt, dirt and snow. That does not seem fun. Um, yeah, and it's just foggy all the time. And then Yellowknife, Canada actually looks pretty nice. Like they're on a river, or maybe that's actually like a bay or something like that. But yeah, they've got all these trees and stuff. And this is obviously a picture taken in the summer because it would get very cold in winter, as you can imagine, based on the other places. So yeah. Should I go on to the next one, or are you trying to prove me
No, it is
wrong?
Wendy's. It is a Wendy's.
You
We
know
move
what?
on to D.
I also have. I'm gonna move on to DFD or DSD, but you're gonna talk for a second because I want to figure out. I know that is not a McDonald's.
The Wendy's.
No, it is not.
It is. All right, DST. Dry summer, extreme subarctic. This one is funny because it doesn't exist.
Ha!
There,
It is
that's
Spa
funny.
Hotel Eden. It is not. You are wrong, sir. It is not a
Say again.
Wendy's. It is
Say
not a
again.
Wendy's. The building is a spa hotel called Eden.
You're
You can
breaking up. I cannot hear you. What are you
you
saying?
can see it in the picture. It actually says, if you zoom in, it actually says Eden right there. So it's a hotel,
All right,
not a
let me
Wendy's.
zoom in. Let me enhance.
Yeah, enhance.
Gotta get my enhancing
Yeah, it's actually
going.
it's Eden's Break by Sokos Hotels. Yeah, look at that. You are wrong,
Let
good sir.
me even.
I will
Let me
now.
slow your roll. Slow your roll.
Yeah, you want me to slow my roll?
Slow your roll. It's getting out of control.
Okay. What's wrong with what I said? I am
Uh,
correct.
I'm fact checking you,
You're
pal.
fact checking me. Well, I was fact checking you. So this is just gonna be an endless cycle of fact.
Zoom in on the logo.
Dude,
Hit present and present again and zoom in on the logo.
no, I am not going to hit present and
I think
present
you should
again.
hit present
All
and
right.
present again.
DSD. The DSD climate has the coldest month of the year averaging below negative 38 degrees Celsius. That is very cold. Um, I don't know if you know that. That is negative 36.4 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's approaching the negative 40 like common zone, you know what I mean? So pretty similar. Negative 38 degrees Celsius is pretty close to negative 38 degrees Fahrenheit. They're just like 1.6 degrees off. So yeah, and then 1 to 3 months averaging above 10 degrees Celsius, and then at least 3 times as much rain in the wettest or precipitation. So it would actually likely be snow in the wettest month of winter as in the driest month of summer. And driest month of summer receives less than 30 millimeters of precipitation. So yeah, interesting climate, like super cold in winter. All of these DD type climates get below negative 38 degrees Celsius in winter. Just think about that. Like, that's crazy. I don't think I've ever experienced negative 38 degrees Celsius weather. You know what I mean? Like, not even like, and this is crazy because it isn't even like one day in winter gets that cold. It's the entire month averages that cold. And even where I lived in the DFA climate, I like not even one day would it get that cold. So yeah, this climate is also known as Error 404 because if you look at the next slide, there are no examples, unfortunately. So if you actually look at Russia, if you look at like Siberia up on the top right, and you see that like dark pink color, and then right next to it is like a faded version of that same color, that is the DSD climate. And so since it only occupies this small area of Siberia, there aren't any like human populations there. There aren't really any towns that are like, yes, we are a town and we are in DSD. Um, so if anybody would like to found a town in cold eastern Siberia, then we can have some examples. So if anyone's up to the challenge, then be my guest. Oh, I'm totally getting allergies right now. All right.
Ah,
Ah,
weak.
I have been bested by plants. Okay. So, DWD. This is the same temperature, but now it is wetter in the winter than in the summer. And it is also known as pretty cold. So here we go. DWD. The coldest month averaging below negative 38 degrees Celsius, again, which is crazy. And then 1 to 3 months averaging above 10 degrees Celsius. And finally, we end up with 10 times as much rain in the wettest month of summer as in the driest month of winter. And so, alternative definition is 70% or more of the average precipitation is in the warmest months, not in the coldest months. So, yeah, again, that's the W. So, let's look at some examples. We only have one, and we have two pictures of it. It's called Oymyakon, Russia. It's this like small town with like snow and stuff pretty much constantly. And near this town is like this mountain range. And I think this picture is pretty haunting.
It is haunting.
It totally looks like this picture totally looks like a place where you would like walk in and like never walk
Never
out.
come out. It's
Yeah.
where souls go.
I think it's occupied by Wendigos, and if you walk in there, you get eaten by a Wendigo. And I think that this town of Oymyakon, Russia, is like haunted at night by Wendigos. Every few months, there will be another child that goes missing from Oymyakon, Russia, because a Wendigo came through and they stayed out too late at night. So if you are in Oymyakon, Russia, staying at a small inn, and you hear scratching at your door, do not open it, because it is a Wendigo.
Or alternatively, they're skinwalkers, and
Mm.
so if you see your dad knocking on the door and begging for you to let him in because it's
Oh,
cold outside, say, "Not today, Pop, because my real dad is sleeping in the other room." And you can watch as he skulks off into the wilderness.
wow. Yeah. So this is a creepy place. So not a good climate, scary, cold, not fun. That's what I would say. All
Definitely
right.
not fun.
Now the final D climate is DFD. Or wait, is this the final one? Yeah, maybe. I think so. Extreme subarctic. It's extreme, radical. Yeah, sounds very
This is for the
90s.
adrenaline junkies.
Yeah, exactly. Extreme subarctic. So here we go. Uh,
And Russia is really hogging the climates on this one.
yeah, Russia's really hogging the climates. So yeah, extreme subarctic is coldest month averaging below negative 38 degrees Celsius and 1 to 3 months averaging above 10 degrees Celsius. And then no significant precipitation difference throughout the year. So it's always snowy or always rainy or whatever. So yeah, let's look at the examples. We've got Verkhoyansk, Russia, and Yakutsk, Russia. And Yakutsk,
That's
Russia,
so metal. It's so metal.
yeah,
The Verkhoyansk is with the two horns.
hmm
That is baller
yeah,
because they know they're like we are in the extreme
yep,
subarctic.
we are in the
Well, like
extreme
the
summer.
average life expectancy here is 8. We're gonna go crazy, you know.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and that's actually in the Cyrillic alphabet. Um, that lettering there actually says the town name, even though it looked like it says
Yeah,
like Bepix, like no, it's Russian letters. So that also says Verkhoyansk, or however you say it. But yes, then Yakutsk, Russia. Like if you like look at that picture, that looks like a real city. You know what I mean? Like it's not just like a random little
But
outpost,
it's not.
but it is.
But it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, what I mean by like a real city, like that looks like you could take this city and put it like if you were like, this is what, say, I don't know, this is what Montreal looks like. I would be like, all right, I can't really argue with you there. I don't know. You know what I mean? Other than specific like skyline things. But so if we look at this picture, it's like very dark because this is probably super northern, so you end up with like very little daylight hours, and of course, because of this, they have like bright lights on throughout the city. And I think again, you get that little idyllic thing in there, you know, you think like, oh, doesn't that look nice? But it is not nice. Do not be fooled. It is a siren. It is tempting you to come into the cold, but don't. The cold is not fun. So, yeah, that's all the D type climates, all the D group. Um,
We off the D
yeah,
group.
all 12 of them. Can you believe that? Yeah.
All right. Now we move on to Group
E. Group E climates. So these are polar climates. And there's only two of them, so this is a lot easier, this part. So yeah, let's begin. We start with ET, Tundra.
Phone Home.
Yep. ET phone home. So this climate, the only qualification is that the average temperature of each month, or well, okay, the average temperature of each month has to be below 10 degrees, but at least one month has to be above 0 degrees. Otherwise, it would be the second type. So the average temperature of the warmest month has to be between 0 and 10 degrees. Everything else has to be below that factor, that value of 10 degrees. So yeah, very cold. So let's look at these examples. Got Mount Fuji, Japan, nuke Greenland, and that is not a command. That is the name of the capital of Greenland. Do not nuke
Quote
Greenland.
Gravity Max.
Nuke
Nuke
Greenland.
Greenland.
Yeah. So then we've got Svalbard, Norway, and Ushuaia, Argentina. So these places, yeah, with the Mount Fuji, Japan, it's not the town, and it's not like the white cap of the mountain, but it's like, you know, climbing up the mountain is where you get this kind of climate type. Um, so it's in the middle of the picture. But yeah, Svalbard, Norway is actually a really cool place. I kind of want to go
Yeah.
there. Um, it's owned by Norway, but it's like an international like science research place. It's really cool. And it's illegal to die there. You're not allowed to die in Svalbard, Norway,
So
because
so
yeah, what?
if you're caught dying in Svalbard, Norway, the consequences aren't going to be too good.
If you yeah, the penalty is death for dying.
Yeah, they will
Um,
bring you life and
and
like
then
give you a
execute you.
$15 fine and send you on your way.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you're like,
No, so the reason is that they don't want to bury anybody in Svalbard, Norway, because they already have a cemetery of like 18 people, and then they realized, oh shoot, these people died of like the Spanish flu. So, right, if the like tundra ever melted, then it would like release the bacteria back into the public, you know, or the
oh
virus, and it
no.
would make a return. So like you think about that. That's something they say about like a problem that would happen with global warming. They say like a ton of pathogens are frozen in the ice, and if we unfreeze it, then they'll return, and we won't be prepared for it. So yeah, after those 18 people, they're like, okay, yeah, we can't keep burying people. So because like the bodies will like freeze and get preserved, and so they're like, okay, if you die, so basically the penalty for dying here is like the couple $1,000s it costs to transport your body back to the mainland where it can be buried. But it's a fun fact because it's illegal to die there, which is just kind of funny. Um, so yeah, then you got Nuke Greenland, the place again, um, and I think it's pretty cool. I actually use Nuke Greenland in my book, in my first book. Um, I think it's the mother of Hudson on Earth. She commutes from New York City to Nuke via suborbital like transportation, and she works there as a real estate agent because everything's melting. So so there's new land because of global
Yeah.
warming or whatever. So that's a fun part of the book. Read the book to get fun details like that. So yeah, this climate type again. I would really like to visit this. You know what I mean? Like I would like to visit Svalbard, Norway. I'd like to like have a little like work sabbatical or whatever, and like maybe a little like thing where they're like, "Oh, we need you to work on this project in Svalbard, Norway for a few months." I'd be like, "Sick, let's go." Um, but yeah, so that's the tundra. Anything else to say on this? Nope.
Continue.
Oh, okay. EF, ice cap. And this is the dark gray areas because they didn't give us a map for the EFs. So, yeah, this is the ice cap climate, also known as the coldest drink. So, all right. So, the qualifications, it's funny actually. It says eternal winter with all 12 months of the year with an average temperature below 0 degrees Celsius. So, there is no like respite. There's no rest. It is always cold here. Every month of the year, below 0 degrees, so the ice never melts. That's why it's called an ice cap. So if you look, most of Greenland and most of Antarctica are ice cap climates. So yeah, let's look at the examples. All right, we've got Großglockner, Austria. We've got Mount Everest, and Mount Everest, the peak is split between China and Nepal, so it's like both. Mount Rainier, Washington, and Vostok Station, Antarctica. So with all of these mountains, it's not just like the base of the mountain, it's the peak of the mountain. Wherever you see white on these mountains, the permanent snow means that it never gets above 0 degrees Celsius. So these places are ice caps, but then also, of course, Antarctica. So, yeah, that is all the climates.
There you go.
There you go. That
So
is all I have to
now
say.
we tier listed the
Yep.
climates just for you guys.
Yeah, so let's look at the
So
first tier list. Okay.
this is Max's list.
Yeah, this is Max's list. So my S tier climate is and the way I based all of this, just disclaimer, is I would have to live here year round and probably for multiple years. So like where would I want to live? Where would I want to like buy a house essentially? Um, cuz buying a house is fairly permanent, it's kind of a pain to move. So this is like where would you want to like settle down and plant your plants. I don't know. So my S tier is CSA, which is the hot summer Mediterranean climate, which is the place that I'm currently at, California, Southern California. Really nice in my opinion. Then A tier, we got the BSH, which is the hot semi-arid. I think that's nice. CSB, I think, is also pretty nice, which is like San Francisco, Pacific Northwest. CFA, my Florida, and then CFB is like Northern Europe. Then all the other climates. I don't want to go over every single one. But the trend is again that I prefer hot climates and I prefer dry climates. So the really like the A group A climates get a little bit lower because they are too humid, and then all the D and E climates get fairly low because they are too cold. But I will note my highest rated D climate is the DFA in the B tier, which is the, northern, northeastern US. So, yeah. All right, let's
Oh
go
yeah.
to Sebastian's list.
So I am just in general a more positive person than Max. So I
Okay.
put a lot more on the S tier. So just going through what those four S tiers are, we have the BSK, which was the West Texas, I believe,
Hmm.
was the AKA.
With like Denver and Boise, right?
Yeah, cold, semi-arid. Examples: Denver, Boise, Canada, and New Zealand.
Hmm.
So that's nice.
Yeah.
Next one, CFA. That's not what Max had, but you mentioned that.
Well,
That
that's what I
was
have.
the
That's the Florida one, right?
humid subtropical, which is Sarasota,
Yeah.
Florida. So that's where Max is rocking it.
Yeah.
So I like that climate.
Yeah.
Very nice climate. The DWB, which is, I think I said that this one was the exception to the rule,
Mm.
that I usually don't like colder climates. Which one is this? This is the loading screen. This is the loading screen
Nice.
for North Dakota, um, Calgary, Canada, the Pyeongchang, South Korea, and the Vladivostok in
Yeah.
Russia. And then the DFC. The DFC is the one I said was the exception
Yeah.
because that's the regular subarctic, and that is the Fairbanks, Alaska, the Wendy's in Finland, and the Yellowknife, Canada. So
Uh-huh.
those are my favorite climates. I could live there forever. And
Uh-huh.
then the general trend going down is I like warm and dry, like hot and
Hmm.
dry, like
Yeah.
Max,
Yeah.
and like my.
Hmm. Yeah. All right. So now we get the averaged list. So this is the official Gravity Max tier list. So if you want to reference, if you're in a debate with a friend and they're like, ET is the best freaking climate type, you will be like, you absolute fool. According to the Gravity Max live stream, it is F tier. So, yeah, our top two, our S's, are CSA and CFA. So that's nice. Um, yes, that's the average list, and that's it.
Are
That's
we gonna call this tier list the Molino, Rudin, Köppen, Geiger tier list?
Molino, Rudin, Köppen, Geiger tier list. That is the name. Yeah, that's great. Um, but yeah, so final thoughts.
Yeah.
Climate.
We live in a world.
Hmm. We live.
Yeah, it's a big one. So
Yep.
we got a lot of weather, a lot of
Yeah.
climates, and people. What I think is the craziest part is that besides the error 404,
Mm.
you could actually find people that live in
Yeah.
most of these climates. Like obviously the tops of the mountain are a little different, but then you do have like research stations and stuff that are there, and you do have people that climb the mountains and do stuff. So I think it's baller that
Yeah.
we as humans can populate the most amount of climates over any other animal besides bacteria and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it's fire that we're resilient. We can live in um that the what's the one with the horns, the Verhoek skank
Yeah.
Russia or however you say it, where the average life expectancy is 8, and they decide to just have a massive like dragon skull in front of their
Yeah.
town, which is
Yeah.
great. Or you can live in the middle of the rainforest in please hold
Please hold.
in Malaysia,
Uh-huh.
and we're all humans.
Yeah.
The people in Rahoy and Malaysia, both humans. So we are
Yeah.
resilient. We are the most resilient species. We will colonize the planets, and we will create a new Köppen Geiger
Mm.
scale for those new
Yeah.
climates we find, and
Yeah.
it's going to be great. And hopefully, we find West Texas on Mars.
West Texas. Yeah, that is a great that's a great message. Yeah, humans resilient. I mean, we've conquered all the climates, you know what I mean? Even in the Error 404 climate, I bet there's like one guy there just like camping, you know what I mean?
Probably is. There's one dude
Um,
there. He's looking around. He's
yeah. Yeah, exactly. Uh, but
futurology is in the chat again.
oh,
He said
futurology in the
well.
chat? Yeah, let me check that. Futurology says, oh, wait, it's loading. Sorry about that. Oh, see you guys. Can't wait till the next one. Yeah, see you, Futurology. Thank you for watching. And thank you to everyone for watching. This is really fun. Something interesting, I like about this like climate type is when you see in like sci-fi like other planets, they're always like, this is the ice planet, this is the desert planet, and I'm just like, how likely is that? You know what I mean? Because we've got Earth, we've got 30 different climate types. Um, so I'm like, why would all the other planets just be one climate type? You know, why would they be so boring? But then at the same time, if you think about it, Venus is actually all BWH. If you were to make the Köppen Geiger map, the entire planet of Venus is BWH. There is no precipitation there, and it is hot as hell, essentially. Um, and then Mars, I guess you could say, is BWK just because there's no rain again, because so many planets don't have water. So all the planets essentially are either BWH or BWK, depending on how hot they are, which is kind of funny. Um, so yeah, like you said, we'll need new Köppen like classifications for these planets because our classifications won't apply. But I think it would kind of be foolish to say, like in a lot of these sci-fi works, that they say that it's just like, oh, the whole planet's just one type of thing. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, fun episode. Yes.
Very fun
Yeah,
episode.
this was a great episode. Great start to season four. Next week I will be back in my southern base of operations on the East Coast and I will get to do it at 5 p.m. again. Um, and yeah, so thank you all for watching. Thank you, Sebastian, for being my co-host as always. And yeah, that's it. See you guys all next time. All right.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. End stream. There we go. End.